I'm gonna show to you, my fellow chessers, the chess game between HIKARU Nakamura and Khagan Ahmad in FIDE World Rapid and Blitz Team Championship 2025. This is round number 5, my fellow chessers. So let's begin on E4, C5, Sicilian defense, Knight F3, D6, Bishop B5 check. This is Sicilian defense. Canal attack, my fellow chessers. Alright. Bishop D7. Bishop takes D7. Queen takes D7. Castles kingside. Knight F6. D3. Knight C6. Knight B D2. E6. C3. Bishop E7. Rook E1, castles kingside, knight F1, B5, D4, D5, knight E5, attacking the queen on D7 at the same time attacking the knight on C6. Queen C7, knight takes C6, queen takes C6, E5, attacking the knight on F6. Knight D7, Queen G4, Rook F C8, Knight G3, C takes D4, Bishop H6. Very good move of HIKARU Nakamura. G6, because this is threatening checkmate, my fellow chessers, as you can see. G6, C takes D4, Queen C2, attacking the pawn on B2. Okay. So, Rook E2, good move of HIKARU Nakamura. Queen D3, Rook D2, Queen C4, H4, blunder of HIKARU Nakamura. The best continuation on this position is H3 or B3 or Queen F4, something like that, my fellow chessers. Alright, so let's continue the game. H4, wow, blunder. Knight takes E5, Queen F4, Knight D3, mistake of Khagan Ahmad. Correct my pronunciation if I'm wrong, my fellow chessers. The best continuation on this position is Knight D7 or Knight C6, my fellow chessers. So let's continue the game. Knight D3, Queen E3, Knight B4, Queen E5, mistake of HIKARU Nakamura. The best continuation on this position is Knight F5 or A3, my fellow chessers. So let's continue the real game, my fellow chessers. Alright. Knight B4, Queen E5, Bishop F6. Good move, very good move. Bishop takes F6, F8, F8, Bishop F8, King takes F8, and then Queen F6, Queen C7, Rook E1, Queen G8, Queen F4. Wow. King G8, H5. G4, good move of Ahmad or Khagan Ahmad. Queen F3, H6, Knight F1, Rook C2, Rook D1, Rook D1, King G7, Queen G3, mistake of HIKARU Nakamura. The best continuation on this position is A3 or Knight E3, my fellow chessers, or Rook E3. Rook E3. That's the best continuation in this position, my fellow chessers. But let's continue the real game. Queen G3, mistake. Queen F6, brilliant move of Khagan Ahmad, attacking the pawn on F2, my fellow chessers. Alright, threatening checkmate, something like that, because if it takes, go here and checkmate here. So let's continue the real game, my fellow chessers. F3, Queen C4, attacking the pawn on G4. Knight E3, wow, attacking the rook on C4, my fellow chessers, as you can see. Rook D4, mistake of Khagan Ahmad. The best continuation on this position is A5 or Rook B8 or Rook C8. Rook A C8, my fellow chessers. So that's the best consideration in this position, my fellow contestants. Let's go to the real game, my fellow contestants. Rook d4, knight g4. Wow, knight g4 attacking the queen on f6, my fellow contestants. Rook takes d1. Rook takes d1. Why? Why Hikaru Nakamura didn't take the queen? If take example, queen takes f6, we have rook takes e1 and king f2, and we have rook c1, and we have queen takes b4. As you can see, my fellow contestants, what? And king takes f6. As you can see, double rook versus one queen, my fellow contestants. As you can see, the pawn on the center in this pawn chain is massive. Massive. Let's continue the real game. I follow chasers. Rook. Okay. So let's continue the game. Rook takes d1. Queen f4. Mistake of Khagan Ahmad. The best continuation in this position is queen e7 or queen f4 or queen to d8. Something like this. This is the best continuation in this position. My fellow chasers. So let's continue the real game, my fellow chessers. All right. Queen f4, queen c3, check. My fellow chessers attacking the king on g7. Okay, good move, very good move of Hikaru Nakamura. f6, rook d4, mistake of Hikaru Nakamura. The best concentration on this position is a3 or queen c5 or rook e1, my fellow chessers. That is the best concentration on this position, my fellow chessers. Rook g4, knight takes a2. Wow. Queen d3 mistake of Hikaru Nakamura. The best concentration on this position is rook takes f4 or queen to d2. What? This is the best concentration. The best takes, if takes, and rook takes f6. Knight e2 check. This is the best continuation in this position. King f2. Knight f4. This is the best continuation in this position based on computer engine. So let's continue the real game. Alright. The real game. Queen d3 mistake. Queen c1 check. King f2. Queen takes b2. King g3. f5 mistake of Khagan Ahmad. The best continuation in this position is king to f8, or queen takes. What's here? This sacrificing the what? Wait. King h8 or king f8 or king h8 or f5. The best continuation based on computer engine. What? Queen to d4. The suggesting of the computer engine. Anyway, let's get it on. Let's continue the game. f5, knight e3. What? The best continuation in this position is rook takes d5. Rook takes d5 and then king h7. What? Okay. That's the best continuation in this position based on computer engine, my fellow contestants. Or king h2 or queen e3. But let's continue the real game, my fellow contestants. Queen c2, queen c3. Why? Why if we go here, we have king h2 and then we have king h7. Why? Why didn't take this? If we take, we have queen g6, as you can see, my fellow chessers, and as you can see, mate n15 or 12, my fellow chessers here. As you can see, the evaluation bar is what is winning on this position, my fellow chessers. Let's continue the real game, my fellow chessers. All right, queen c3, rook takes d5, he takes d5, queen takes d3, queen e1, and then here takes. Okay. As you can see, black is winning on this position, my fellow chessers. Alright. Hikaru Nakamura sacrificed the rook on d5. Alright, to break this pawn chain. Alright. As you can see, massive pawn chain of Khagan Ahmad. Alright. So we sacrifice, as you can see here. The Khagan Ahmad is one knight up. Alright, queen c7 here. And queen takes b5. Wow. Here knight d5. I'm gonna try to continue because So here, here, mm. King G8, Queen H8, Queen D6, King C5, Queen A5. I'm gonna try to go something like this. My fellow Chessers, subscribe now to my YouTube channel, Chessers TV. Alright? Subscribe now, my fellow Chessers. Alright, subscribe now. Alright. As you can see the time of this both players. Time pressure is real, man. Why? Why Hikaru Nakamura didn't take this? If you take, we have Queen D6, and as you can see, force Queen to Queen, my fellow Chessers. That's why Hikaru Nakamura didn't take the pawn on F5, F4, F4, F4. Queen C3. Wow. As you can see, black is winning on this position, my fellow Chessers. But as you can see, the time. Oh, sacrifice H3. And G takes H3, and then G2, sacrifice again, Queen H2, King G2. Okay, takes, and takes. Alright. So you can see. After Queen F1, Hikaru Nakamura resigned the game. Why? Because example, we have go here, we have Knight F3, checkmate, my fellow Chessers. That's why Hikaru Nakamura resigned the game after Queen F1, my fellow Chessers. To God be all the glory, praise Lord Jesus Christ. To God be all the glory, praise Lord Jesus Christ.